String gauge matters because it changes how strongly the strings resist your hands, how far they move under the pick, how easily they bend, and what setup the guitar requires. Gauge means string thickness, measured in thousandths of an inch. A set labeled 10 to 46 has a high E string 10 thousandths of an inch thick and a low E string 46 thousandths thick. Gauge is separate from material, coating, winding style, core construction, and brand. Actual tension depends on pitch, scale length, and gauge. With the other factors fixed, a longer scale, higher pitch, or thicker string raises tension. Construction can also change stiffness and physical response, so sets with the same listed gauges can feel different. Gauge describes thickness, not every part of the playing experience. Sets built around 7s and 8s sit at the lightest common end. They need very little fretting force and make wide bends easy. They also move farther under the pick, so a strong attack can push notes sharp or make the strings hit the frets. Heavy fretting pressure can pull notes sharp too. These gauges suit a light touch, large bends, and standard or higher tunings. Their main limitation is control. Small changes in pressure and pick strength have a larger effect. 9s add enough resistance to make that movement easier to manage without giving up easy bending. Fretting still feels light, but the strings are less sensitive to extra pressure. They also tolerate a moderate pick attack better than 7s or 8s. 9s are common in standard tuning, especially on longer scale guitars. On a shorter scale, they feel even softer. Their limitation appears with hard picking, lower tunings, or players who want firmer low strings. 10s move another step toward resistance and control. They require more fretting force than 9s, and bends take a little more hand strength, but the response is usually predictable. The strings move less under the same attack, so rhythm playing can feel steadier. 10s are a common standard tuning reference on both major electric guitar scale lengths. They feel softer on a shorter scale and firmer on a longer one. The trade-off is greater fatigue during repeated wide bends or long sessions. 11s continue the same change. Fretting pressure rises, bending becomes more demanding, and a hard pick attack causes less pitch movement. They can suit strong rhythm playing, short-scale guitars, and moderate down tuning. They also give the low strings more resistance after the pitch is lowered. Their practical limit is hand effort. Players who bend often may find full step and wider bends harder to control cleanly. 12s and 13s sit in a much heavier electric guitar range. They need firm fretting pressure and make large bends difficult for most players. Their reduced movement under the pick can help with a very strong attack and lower tunings, but the guitar must accommodate them. Some heavy and jazz-oriented sets use a wound third string instead of a plain one. That makes the G string feel firmer and harder to bend, but not every heavy or jazz set includes one. Heavier strings do not automatically improve tone, tuning, sustain, or skill. They mainly change resistance and response. Standard sets are not the only option. Light top, heavy bottom sets keep the higher strings easier to bend while making the lower strings firmer for rhythm playing or down tuning. The jump between the plain and wound strings can feel uneven. Balanced tension sets use gauges chosen to make resistance more consistent from string to string. Sets made for lower tunings use heavier combinations to restore control after pitch is reduced. The needed weight depends on the tuning, scale length, and pick attack. A substantial gauge change can require setup work. Thicker strings may bind in nut slots that are too narrow, while thinner strings can sit loosely in slots cut for a much larger set. The change in total tension can alter neck relief. It can also shift intonation because the strings behave differently when fretted. A floating tremolo may rise or sink until spring tension is rebalanced. For standard tuning, 9s and 10s are the most useful starting references. Choose 9s for easier bends, lighter fretting, and a softer response. Choose 10s for more resistance, firmer picking, and better control of the low strings. Account for scale length, hand comfort, bending, and pick attack. Lower tunings usually need heavier low strings to keep their movement controlled. Change one gauge step at a time, have the guitar checked and adjusted when needed, then judge whether fretting, bending, picking, and pitch control all feel manageable.